welcome to 8-Bit Dad. I am Brian Ferguson.
And I'm Zach Rosenberg. And, 8-Bit Dad, this podcast, and our website is, for modern fathers, kind of a younger crowd, younger audience. Our motto is paternity in pixels. There's two kinds of fatherhood websites out there. There's the big companies like the National Fatherhood Initiative, Fathers and Families. The UK's think tank on fatherhood. I forget what it's called, but I just like saying think tank. And then there's personal websites. These are the sites that are run by fathers out there on the internet, and they're great and they're deeply personal. And those are true-to-life blogs. What we do is we cut those two right down the middle and we aggregate news from both, and we bring it to all the other people that are interested in fatherhood news. So we take the best of everything that's out there, plus news, reviews, and opinions, and throw it on 8-Bit Dad for you. And we decided to make a podcast out of it to kind of share a little extra information with you guys.
Yeah,
so
that's right. It's not only just for dads, by dads. It's for everyone. It's for parents, mothers. It's not so much kid-friendly, but it's more catered towards our generation of, kids, like parents that grew up in the 80s and, have that influence of growing up in our generation. So we're early 30s, and we're just trying to appeal to parents, but it's more
tech savvy.
Yeah, more tech savvy, more geared towards dads. Just basically because that's our sense of humor, and we're always trying to make each other laugh. So yeah, that's
so let's do it.
Okay, this is our first episode. We have no idea what the hell we're doing.
I got a little pink laptop.
Yeah, this is it's awesome.
Little thing.
We did you have anything exciting that you want to talk about, like this last week, or you had your anniversary?
Yeah, anniversary was 2 days ago. 5 years. I'm stoked. 5 years is the wood anniversary. So
we just had our leather anniversary.
So wood and leather.
Yeah.
I don't know who made up these traditional gifts, but
stupid.
I couldn't figure out what to get her, so I just gave her wood.
My wife gave me a Whitesnake video.
There you go.
Leather. For leather, yeah. So that's how that worked out. We did a poll this week, based on our website on 8bitdad.com, and we asked kind of like what your generation games do you play with your kid, and this is like stuff that we would have played as kids, like Nintendo, NES, Genesis. What other consoles and board games were there?
Gosh, I mean, there's Nintendo, Genesis, Super Nintendo. I mean, Nintendo 64. I guess we can go that far up. There is Atari, Commodore, ColecoVision. If we're going back that far.
Yeah, that's
PC. PC's always a big.
PC.
I mean, that was kind of, some people didn't do the console thing and just started with the PC titles. A lot of people reach back to their childhood and they look at stuff like Oregon Trail.
Oh yeah, that was big.
Monkey Island series, Police Quest.
Island, yes.
Those might be a little too old for our kids.
Way too old.
If you guys don't know, if you don't follow us, we don't really talk about our kids too much on our website, just because we prefer to talk about the the fatherhood news. From a distance away. Every now and then we'll mention, but we don't explicitly say. I have a 2-year-old.
1-year-old.
1-year-old. So we
daughter.
Son, so we're still a little early in the video game playing. I have let my son try to play a couple games. We're getting towards the age where he's a little interested in the Wii. So we'll put the Wii on. We've tried Wii Sports Resort. There's like a sword fighting game. He kind of likes that, but there's no finesse with kids that age. So he's if I tell him to swing a sword, he's swinging for the fences.
Right. Yeah.
So. I did give him my PSP. I let him play some of that Pac-Man Championship Edition, which is a great game if you haven't checked it out. It's on Xbox Live, it's on PlayStation Network, it's on PSP.
Have you reviewed that yet?
No, actually.
Oh, you should do a review. That'd be awesome.
It's it's kind of an updated version of Pac-Man.
Okay.
Kind of got more trippy colors and.
Yeah. Anything like authentic? Like, do you have your original NES?
No, I sold mine.
I don't think those games even work.
I sold mine
anymore.
Years ago.
I always had to like blow in them, and
yeah.
I don't know why I made that motion, but like. But you always had to like blow on them just to get them to work, and like the cartridges were like the worst like invention, but the most genius invention at the same time.
Well, they were so rugged. I mean,
it was rugged. You could just throw them across the room, wouldn't break.
You could put them. I mean, if you were having like a sleepover with friends, you could put them in your bag
or use them as a pillow.
Use them as a pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's like I'm so afraid with discs that I'm going to scratch them.
Yeah.
That they don't go anywhere. I actually hacked my Wii so that I could just basically copy the games from the disc to the hard drive.
Oh, that's cool.
That way, it's actually a pretty kid-friendly idea. I thought about writing it up, and just haven't done it yet. But basically, now that the Wii is kind of hitting the end of its life cycle, you're going to want to figure out how to extend the life of it. Maybe if you're planning on getting the new Wii U or another system, putting that old Wii in your kid's room or something. It's kind of a cool idea to take the Wii. You're able to hack it. Nintendo doesn't obviously want you to do that, but you can hack it, attach an external hard drive, and then put your games into it, and it'll give you the option to back them up to the hard drive. And then, once they're on the hard drive, it makes it a lot easier for you to keep games in your kids' room because they don't have to necessarily take a disc out and put a disc in and
that's cool.
Risk scratching, dropping, throwing, all that stuff. So it's really easy for them to go through a menu and choose the game based on the cover of it and play.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because my daughter, she doesn't interact with video games at all, but the most interaction that she has is getting all the DVDs, in the
off the rack,
off the rack and just throwing them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's her idea of playing video games is just throwing DVDs, and she's one, so what does she know? And there goes your son banging against the
glass door. Good call, buddy.
So we had a couple comments, not a lot, because this is new for us to kind of reach out to the community for feedback, and we literally just pulled this out of our ass. This whole podcast thing, like 3 days ago, we just decided to just do it and see what happens. So we kind of asked a question at the last minute with very little promotion. About the same thing, like, what our generation games do you play with your kid? And we had a good response from, who was it? Tristan, on October 8th. That was yesterday, right? What's today?
At least.
Yeah, at least.
At least yesterday.
So he has a 5-year-old, this guy Tristan, I think it's a guy, hopefully. He said that his 5-year-old son's top picks would be Mario Brothers on the NES.
Totally.
Sonic on the Mega Drive. What is the Mega Drive?
It was like the Genesis. It was like the precursor to the Genesis.
Oh, okay, I didn't even.
It was like Sega's Mega Drive came out. There were like 14 games for it, and then they decided to redo it as the Genesis.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of was more. I don't know why, but it was more popular, and they re-released everything for it.
Whatever. That's awesome, man. Like the Mega Drive. Mario Kart, Super Nintendo.
Totally, yeah. Definitely.
Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast. I had a Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And Smash Brothers on the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
He said that his son beats him on most of the games. He's rather eccentric, but he wouldn't give him up for the world.
Obviously.
Yeah. He says, "Love you, Jack." I guess that's his son's name. So Thank you very much, Tristan.
I played Mario Kart with my son.
Yeah.
2 years old, doesn't really get it.
Mm.
We thought maybe because he does the wheels on the bus steering wheel, I thought maybe he'd kind of catch on because we have the steering wheel for the Wii. So
okay.
I thought maybe he'd be able to do
cool.
that. Yeah, he's pretty good at veering off the road. So maybe we'll give that another year or so until he can play Mario Kart. But I'm real excited about that. I can imagine Tristan's probably having a lot of fun.
Yeah,
doing the Mario Kart thing. I'm looking forward to it.
That's one of the things that I wish that I could. I'm sure my daughter's going to be into video games, but not like a son. Like a son is completely different dynamic than a daughter. I'm probably going to be ending up like sitting next to her at a tea party more times than like playing video games. So it's
well, you can always give it a shot. I mean,
yeah. Maybe there's like a tea party game.
You might have to fight your wife to
Maybe.
kind of inject the competitive gaming edge into her. But
Yeah.
we did also have Ben left a comment on the site on the 7th, which would that be 2 days ago? He was talking about
We can count.
his Atari 800. The big floppy disks.
Oh yeah.
He said he has to admit he much prefers PC games over anything else. When he got his PC and started getting the PC games, he was addicted. So he doesn't really play the console games. That's cool, man. There's a lot of people out there that preferred. We were talking before the show. Preferred like Oregon Trail and Monkey Island and Police Quest and King's Quest and all the Sierra games over the console games. So he says he also admits that he likes to play the board games with his kids, things like Monopoly.
That's cool.
Which totally I can imagine in a couple years when I can trust my kid with small pieces.
Where he won't eat them.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll pick up Sorry or something, or anything with the Pop-O-Matic bubble in it. Do they even do that stuff?
I don't know. Sorry. Oh man.
So what stories do we have going on this week? Let's see.
Well, we had some great stories that we posted on 8bitdad.com this week. And I think there's like a few of them that we should talk about. There's this one story about Ragú, and this had a lot of attention on our site this past week. And I believe this was your story.
Yeah.
This was your story, right?
Yeah, big topic.
What was it called?
It was CC Chapman, who is he's a marketing specialist. He has a background in marketing, a background in fatherhood websites. So he's a guy that you want on your side if you're a brand and you're trying to talk to fathers. So naturally, what Ragú did was they went after fatherhood bloggers, and I guess 6 in all. They sent this tweet to 6 fatherhood bloggers, and the tweet was basically it was a link to a video, and Ragú had this kind of 7-month ad campaign that was going on called "Mom's the Word" on dinner. So naturally, if mom's the word, let's send that tweet to fathers. And the final topic for their video series was what happens when dad makes dinner, which there's
automatically set up for just terrible.
Yeah,
terrible results.
They definitely put the worm on the hook and cast out real far.
Kibosh on that immediately with that title.
So yeah, of course you're sending this to CC Chapman, who's a marketing specialist and a fatherhood blogger. He started a couple fatherhood websites. He has a book out about marketing and social strategy. He does keynote speeches for companies. People hire him, and they send it and it says, "Do your kids like it when you make dinner?" With a link to this this video, and obviously he went pretty crazy. He immediately went to his website and kind of wrote up what he felt about it, which was not happy. And the thing about Ragú was, because they're a traditional company and they were working with traditional marketing techniques on the social network, they went home for the weekend, and for the night. So there was basically 18 hours where CC Chapman was fuming about this Ragú issue, and no one was there to basically answer him and say, hey, we made a mistake. We didn't mean to say it like that. So by the time that Ragú got to work the next day, there was an absolute shitstorm on the internet, and everyone had picked up this article. And I had actually reached out to CC about covering the issue, but I knew there was going to be more going on, so I kind of held off on it. And talked to him on Twitter a little bit, and he said he was preparing a couple more topics on it. So that's why our article actually is so long, is because it went on. This started at like Wednesday night, I think, of
a couple weeks ago,
and it went all the way until like Tuesday of the next week when Christine Sia or C or something. She's like the vice president of marketing of Unilever, who is the evil father corporation of Ragú. It couldn't have a better name for being like an evil corporation. Unilever, like
one lever.
There's one lever. We pull the marketing lever, and it happens. And so she finally posted a response that you can read its link to on that article. And basically, her response was, if you don't get it, then
go
it's your
yourself.
fault. Yeah. she actually used the word industry accolades. Like our campaign has gotten these industry accolades. Like we care. The industry is the one that actually was the one that stabbed fathers in the back in the first place. So we don't really care if your marketing campaign has gotten industry accolades because we don't trust the industry as a whole. And that was kind of the topic of other articles during the week. Also, the Yoplait article about dads who get it get Go-Gurt. On the top, look, Yoplait thinks they're doing a great thing by making a commercial where a father's making a lunch, and he looks like a well put together father. It didn't look like he was eating out of a garbage can or anything. So they took the right step there in making him look smart and intelligent. He's putting lunches together for his kids, so obviously he cares. The only problem is that he was prompted to put these Go-Gurts in his kids' lunches by all these notes around the house. So in the end, the father's still not making the decision on what's good for the kids. The kid actually is the one that dictated what to put in his own lunch. So, again, nice shot against fathers on that one. They thought they were doing good, but when it came down to it, they really weren't. That kind of started me looking at different advertisements lately, and that kind of brought up, I guess it was the Walmart Hanes sock commercial where the crazy dad is like dunking the kid in the paste to make comfortable foot-hugging socks. And coincidentally, we didn't mention this anywhere because there was no place to mention it. But Kelly Lester, who is the CEO of EasyLunchboxes.com.
Oh, yeah.
Easy Lunchboxes we reviewed on 8-Bit Dad. Great little Tupperware, 3 compartments.
Very cool stuff.
They're awesome. We use them.
I never thought I would get excited about
Tupperware.
Yeah, I never thought I would get excited about Tupperware until I had a kid.
Welcome to fatherhood.
Thank you.
So I was talking to her about it. She loved all those write-ups that we've been doing, and she actually told me that she had auditioned for that commercial where the dad's dipping the kid in the paste, because she's also an actress. Yeah. So she had auditioned for that commercial. She thought, she said, I didn't know about anything about the message, but I was there. I was auditioning. So those were kind of two. It was big week for us on brands. Yeah. It was kind of a big. Sometimes it all falls into place. There's kind of always a sentiment around the commercial industry about how they're talking about fathers, and which brands are kind of putting a positive message out there and which ones are putting a negative message. But it all came together last week, kind of around that Ragú issue. We had just covered the Yoplait thing like the day before, and then the Ragú thing blew up, and that kind of just went on for a couple of days, and everyone started thinking about how fathers are being looked at in ads, and it was all over the internet. when we put that article up, it immediately got hits everywhere, which was great. It's great for people to think about that.
Yes, that's the thing, to, at least from our standpoint, to bring awareness to these kind of issues that we may not think about on a daily basis because we're so wrapped up in our own lives that there's like a bigger surrounding society component to how people view fathers in today. Even though I think there was a study that just came out that fathers are spending 20% more time with their kids than they were in the baby boomer generation.
Yeah.
There's something about that where fathers today are spending more and more time with their kids. So there's some positive issues that are going on, but these these attempts to promote corporate brands by putting a cliche on fathers in general for just entertainment value is kind of lame, and we don't like that.
Well, and especially around what's funny is there's such an opinion around the kitchen and cooking that fathers don't know what they're doing. You really, whenever you see food commercials, there's not a lot of sentiment that fathers know what they're doing. But if you take a look at the Food Network, you're going to see Emeril Lagasse has kids, Tyler Florence has kids. I got a list over there. Jamie Oliver has kids. Alton Brown has kids. Gordon Ramsay has kids. Anthony Bourdain has kids. Steve Rinella, Food Travel Channel has kids. Who else do I have over here? Guy Fieri has kids. Guy Fieri's on every one of the Food Network channels. These guys all have kids, and they've talked about them on their shows. These are proud fathers, obviously successful cooks and chefs. it's time that we abandon the idea that that fathers don't know what they're doing in the kitchen. Coincidentally, fathers started coming back to the home and cooking when mothers went back to work. So with the feminist revolution kind of came the fatherhood revolution, where as women went to work, fathers went home. So, the litmus test is if you can say your message the opposite way about a woman at work, then it's safe to say about a father in the home. I mean, if you could make a commercial where a woman doesn't know how to use a copy machine, then you're fine saying that a father doesn't know how to use, a tomato sauce.
It's only fair, but then you have like the women's rights movement of the '60s that are just going to come and rise up and say, "Oh, it's not cool."
Yeah.
It's just no one's sticking up. Someone's got to stick up for fathers.
And what's funny is that it's kind of the women's revolution, the feminist revolution that is saying, ridiculing the fathers movement the most, saying, "Oh, well, you guys don't need that much encouragement. We were doing this before you were."
Yeah.
Hello, if you need us to be home, you need to be at work. And if you want to be at work, you need us to be at home. And, we all got to help each other. We don't, 8-Bit Dad's not about tearing the mother and father away. We try to do a lot of, kind of fair speaking when we talk about mothers and fathers. We didn't necessarily go after the mothers in the Ragú video, even though, they might have had, a couple bad things to say about fathers in general. We weren't necessarily going back after them because, it's great that they've got their own websites and they're making money on their websites, and it's great that they're taking care of kids. We've got nothing bad to say about women and mothers in general, and a little bit of light jabbing back and forth is fine. But when a brand, I think the big thing is when a brand takes that on, that's the big mistake, and
because they have so much power behind their advertising, and they can influence and just get into the subconscious of consumers easily.
Yeah, they have the power to do it, and they have all the money behind it to do it. So why spend that on something negative, basically?
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll move on.
In complete opposite news, where reality is the catalyst to the bane of father's existence, we have this next story where a dad teaches young son to play with flammable liquids, lights a Tony Romo jersey on fire. Now, this one was...
and I'm glad you caught that one. I have like no sports knowledge, so I'm not even on the websites where sports exist. So
it's
good that you caught that.
This didn't really catch my eye because of it had to do with like football or anything. I mean, the original title of this was "Shame Dad Teaches His Son How to Play with Flammable." It was like not necessarily about like the actual burning of Tony Romo's jersey, but it was like this father that let him, gave him a can of lighter fluid and told him to douse a jersey, because he didn't like the way that Tony Romo was playing.
Yeah. And the way he was talking, it certainly sounded like he knew the video was going to somehow go viral.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was...
Easily.
Sorry we gotta do this to you, Tony. Go ahead. Here, what's this, son?
What's this, son?
Now we gonna need a match. And go ahead and take this pre-lit match.
And, it's just like, come on, man. There's better ways to deal with this.
Yeah. And there's certainly safer ways to teach your kid hate.
Yeah, there's, you can go online and just type out your anger,
Well, the sports world is so, maybe I'm the weird one because I'm not really passionate about any certain sports. I follow the Lakers.
Basketball.
Yeah, I follow the Lakers. I'm looking into hockey this season because I haven't followed hockey since the 90s.
Yeah,
so.
Wayne Gretzky was.
Yeah.
And Kelly Rudy.
Yeah. Marty McSorley and all those guys. So I'm excited for hockey this season, but I just don't get to the point where even when I was watching the Lakers and I was angry that they were losing, I wasn't like burning a Kobe Bryant jersey or, I wasn't like on the internet like making videos about destroying my Lakers paraphernalia.
I mean, this was an obvious attempt to generate some kind of, discussion online, but the way he went about it. I'm looking at it right now. The way he went about it, and just the laugh of this kid.
Yeah, and he's got the other kid filming.
Yeah, he's got his other son filming.
He's employed
this whole thing.
two kids in the machine.
I don't know. I didn't care for it. It's not because I don't like the Dallas Cowboys, which I don't really care, but it's just that. And then the end where he's come on, man. Rest in peace, Romo jersey.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the video, go check it out. You might have to scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, search for just Tony Romo on our website. And
there's guaranteed to be probably one article that'll come up if you search for Tony Romo.
Probably.
On our
only
site.
One, yeah.
There might be a couple, but
yeah,
at least one. But on the other side of the coin, there was actually a kind of you found a good.
Yeah, this was a great story to kind of counteract this depressing display of fatherhood. There was a story called that we posted called "Touching Story Posted." Internet happens. Now this one was found on Reddit.com, which is the front page of the internet. If you haven't been on there, it's a great site for guys like us. There's a great section called what is it? Daddit?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different subreddits or subcategories, and we regularly comb through it and just find what's the more popular stories. But this one really was an amazing, and it really looked authentic. You can never really trust what you see online with Photoshop and just all the technology that is accessible today. To be able to fake documents, but this one really looked authentic.
And there was no real reason to
There was no reason.
There was no punchline that would have made it obviously fake.
And there was no reason to say that this that this is to gain popularity.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
But this was a letter written in 1991 by this dude's father, who was diagnosed with what was it? I can't remember what he was diagnosed with. I'm just trying to read through it right now. He was diagnosed with a very serious terminal illness, and he wrote this letter in 1991 when his son, the guy who posted this, was 3 or 4 at the time. I want to say 3. I totally did not prepare this article. But it's an amazing letter, powerful, simple, to the point.
And it's a father to son letter.
Yeah.
And what really gets you about it is that, like you said, the father wrote it when the kid was 3. So obviously the father knew that the kid wasn't going to read it until
he was older.
Until he was older. Yeah, and that's kind of what gets you. That's what gets you first before you even see the words. Mm-hmm. It's one of those, one of those you're going to see this in the future type deals.
Yeah.
So that was immediately when I saw that story, I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, not so much ooh, I'm coming back from the grave.
Yeah, but
this was just an amazing, powerful letter that was really awesome, and the even more awesome part was the other comments that happened in this post on Reddit. And there's this other guy, forgot to mention his username, but he writes in the comments, I remember telling him I loved him, giving him a guy hug, and going out to hang out with friends afterwards. I got back late, and my parents were already asleep. Woke up the next morning, my mom screaming and calling 911. My dad had a heart attack and died while he was outside warming up the car, getting ready to go to work. I had been passed out, and she had been in the shower, so we didn't notice. He had just turned 55. Another person writes, I'm incredibly thankful that I had the chance to hug him and see him the night before. People said that it was be important to remember the conversation we had and the words we said, but honestly, I can't remember the specifics. Just the words, I love you, and that's all that matters. Mm-hmm. Just comment after comment of just relatable stories and words of support that you can just, offer online to someone that you don't even know. And that was really cool to see how a community can come together and support someone that's going through something that's not easy to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like a great, just story to follow up on and make other people aware of it. So
yeah.
So those are our four sort of like stories that we had that we wanted to touch on for this week, and I think there's like some upcoming events, right? Some like a father type event that you're invited to.
Well, yeah. Kind of what, interestingly enough, GM, General Motors. I don't know what else that would have been, but GM. I'm not necessarily a car guy either, which might be bad news for what I'm about to say. But GM had invited me to an event at GM in Detroit, Michigan. I've been told is Michigan's the state.
That's where they're from.
Not real big on geography, but they invited me out to go check out their new models of the Chevy Traverse. Which, if you were following the Yoplait article, I actually had linked that same day, really, to a commercial for the Chevy Traverse, and really it was a great commercial because the father is not made to look like an idiot, and the father basically, there's a little girl playing in a really loud room. You're basically to understand that there are a lot of family members in the room making noise, and the father sweeps in the room and asks his daughter if she wants to go for a ride, and she says, yeah, sure. So he puts her in the car, and then he looks in his rear view and notices that she's far back. So he gets out and says, hey, why don't you come up here? Knocks some toys off the seat, your other indicator that there's like a lot of kids in the family, and puts his daughter another row up, and looks at her in the rear view again and notices that she's closer and kind of gives like a pleasing, a pleased smile, and the commercial just ends with him pulling out of the driveway and saying, hey, did you know that I had 4 sisters, or 3 or 4 sisters? And she says, really? That sounds fun. And he said, yeah, for them. And that was that. And, it was a really, it's an effective commercial for fathers because it doesn't badmouth them. You get to see the interplay between a father and a daughter without it being, lent down to the Tea Party idea or the someone, dressing themselves up in a tutu, or one of those kind of obvious father-daughter things. So it was kind of cool to see just a simple commercial. But anyway, so GM had invited me out, and this a ton of other bloggers.
This actually looks like a really cool car. It looks like almost like the Lexus of like an SUV Lexus.
Yeah, well, that's their whole angle with this Traverse, as far as I understand, as far as I've been told, and not paid to say yet, at least, is that they're trying to make a carpool vehicle that fathers are kind of comfortable in and don't feel like it's
a mom car or something.
A mom car.
What is a mom car?
Well, I think that stigma's still around about the soccer mom van. Okay, yeah. Even though there are a lot of fathers, we did an article about how dads are the carpool kings now. So, yeah. It's funny, everyone kind of in passing on that article mentioned that maybe we should stop calling them soccer mom cars. Maybe they should be soccer dad cars. But that's kind of what this vehicle is. I think it's got 3 rows of seats, if I understood that commercial correctly. It's got 3 rows of seats. It's got a lot of room on the inside, but it still looks solid. It doesn't look like...
It looks solid, yeah.
It doesn't have that old, like, van look. And I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, all those big SUVs kind of were taken over by mothers. I guess probably for that reason, for the whole carting kids to school. All of a sudden, Escalades and Tahoes and all those are they're the mom vehicles. So you're starting to see things like the Ford Flex, which even though they market towards mothers kind of in the commercials, are kind of like a more hip-looking vehicle that dads are not so out of place in. The Chevy Traverse, kind of cars like that where they're kind of...
And this is...
somewhere between...
This price is pretty solid. I mean, at $30,000, like that's not bad for an SUV that can haul around a lot of kids and a lot of stuff. Like that's a pretty reasonable price for a decent SUV.
Yeah, and if it's got even 4 seats for kids in it, if it's got like 2 rows 2 rows of seats, that'd be what, six kids in the back seat plus one in the front.
I guess it depends on how big they are.
Yeah.
You can just pile them on top of each other.
But even if you get 4 kids in there, that's like what, $7,000 a kid, $7,000 per kid or something like that. 714. I'm not big on math either. So, but anyway, that's coming up. So we'll cover that, and I don't know who else is there. I actually was really excited because they first explained it as like a dad blogger event.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to see like all the dad bloggers there, and then I asked the representative from this company, I think it's Mullen is the marketing agency. I asked her, I said, hey, do you have any of the other names of people that are coming just in case? I kind of wanted to jump on Twitter and talk to these people and say, hey, I know you're going to the Chevy event, so am I. And that's when the chick from Mullen let me know that there's also mom bloggers and tech websites going to be there also. So even if they're marketing towards fathers, they still want to get those mom bloggers there just to make sure that
it's like
that they got everyone informed. But hey, I'm excited to meet them too, because God knows with this the baby Bretza video that maybe you saw, maybe you didn't see. I did a kind of short paid promo for this baby food processor. And I'm going to get
which
the
looks
review.
Awesome too.
Yeah,
I want one. Now.
It's their big claim to fame is that it steams and processes all in one bucket or pot or whatever this compartment.
You made a sauce, right?
I made a pizza sauce, yeah.
Pizza sauce, yeah.
And we're going to actually be having pizza for dinner tonight, and I'm going to be doing the sauce for that, and that again, because it was so effective the first time.
Yeah. And
made a kind of like a berries and yogurt thing, which was really good. What I didn't say in the video was that it was also really tart. It actually needed something else in it. It probably you could throw like an organic honey in it or something and sweeten it up a little, but it was kind of tart from like berries and like organic whole milk yogurt alone. But it wasn't bad. It certainly wasn't bad at all. It just needed a little bit more sweetness in it. But I kind of connected with mom bloggers on that one a little bit. And it was posted on momtv.com, and also picked up by the gal that runs Easy Lunchboxes. She linked to it on her website as well. So thank you to Kelly Lester again for that one. Thanks to Mom TV for supporting fathers in a positive way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was really that was a really positive thing, and we had a really good turnout on Twitter as the video was airing, and a lot of moms were really, really impressed with what they were seeing. So
there you are. See?
Yeah, right on the front of momtv.com.
Right on the front.
Look for the big dude that looks like me. You can't miss me.
I thought you were like this little 3-year-old.
Couple feet wide and look like a man. So and the video for that baby Bretza, that was kind of they paid me for it. They sent me the product.
It's on par with ShamWow.
Yeah,
like it is seriously like if that came on at 2 a.m, I'm like, oh, I gotta have that.
Gotta have it. Yeah. Gotta have it. So they sent me the product. They paid me. I'm putting that out front right away. But I am going to be giving it a full review on 8bitdad.com. I thought about doing it yesterday, and we just were all of a sudden crunched for time.
You had an anniversary.
That was our anniversary.
You're thinking about reviews, like, oh man, I gotta review this.
And our kid was at our grandparents, his grandparents. So we had the kid away, and it was our anniversary. We were thinking about the 5-year wood. We weren't thinking about doing a baby Bretza review at that point. So it'll be up. I'll do some of it tonight. I got to take pictures of me making the sauce tonight for the website. So
that'll be a good opportunity.
Take some pictures, and maybe I'll get it up tonight. Maybe I'll get it tomorrow. Hard to say. Who knows?
All right, cool.
Who cares? It'll be up.
Well, I think that's it for our first episode.
That's going to be it.
That's going to be it.
That's going to be it.
I think we covered just about as much as tape can handle on the video camera. Okay, so that's it for this week's episode of 8-Bit Dad. I'm Brian Ferguson.
I'm Zach Rosenberg.
And we'll see you next week.
Stay tuned. This will only get better, hopefully. London Law, Missouri Movies, Heroes, the TV series, Cancer, Testosterone, and to a lesser degree, Huffington Post, Mixed Martial Arts, and the New York Times. By the way, I was at Burlington Coat Factory last night. I didn't realize that my waist size goes up and down so much.
A couple dudes sitting around on the laptops. That's the kind of show I wanted to do.